Even at their most disturbing, Brian De Palma's films have always seemed like brilliant abstractions, sinister theorems from a bloody virtuoso. But Casualties of War, the director's rigorous, unflinching, masterly film, is something else altogether. It is a film of great emotional power and great seriousness, in which all of the filmmaker's talents and interests are in the balance. It was breakthrough work after Scarface and The Untouchables, a signal of an artist's blossoming maturity, and one of the most punishing, morally complex movies about men at war ever made. Daniel Lang wrote a non-fiction piece for The New Yorker about a squad of American soldiers court-martialed for the abduction, rape, and murder of a young Vietnam woman in 1969. The piece, published soon after in book form, under the title Casualties of War, was both a grim truth and a devastating metaphor for American imperialism. Hollywood stayed clear. It would be a decade before Michael Cimino's Deer Hunter and Hal Ashby's Coming Home could open fire on the war and still be covered at box office and Oscar glory. One of De Palma's most humane and devastating films, Casualty of War did not receive much acclaim upon release, upsetting the director at the time because he felt he had given so much of himself to the film. But as time has passed, it is clear to see that is evident, based on a true story that shows the barbarism of US soldiers during the Vietnam War. The troops, led by a bulldog Sean Penn performance, who goes toe-to-toe with the film's moral compass, Michael J. Fox. De Palma's one Vietnam film will stay with you long after the credits roll. What De Palma gives us, essentially, is the anatomy of an atrocity. He shows us in detail the unraveling of the moral fabric, how the descent into barbarism is a journey of steps. The film script was written by the playwright David Rabe, but its origins are based on the actual incident reported first in 1969. The film is led by Michael J. Fox, an actor who was usually associated with easy entertainment and pop blockbusters. Here he's a chain smoker, guzzling beers, gunning down opposing forces. They're still the hero. Imagine what Vietnam did to soldiers, once easygoing, then forced to fight brutally in a country they barely understood. In that, Fox is flawlessly cast. The film went on to gross $18.7 million from a budget of $22.5 million. Yet garnered mainly critical acclaim. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a very respectable audience rating of 87%. This movie, in my opinion, still lies quietly in the shadows, waiting to be found by its audience, and that time seems to be drawing close. Roger Ebert gave the film 3 stars out of 4 and wrote, "More than most films, it depends on the strength of its performances for its effect, and especially on Penn's performance. If he is not able to convince us of his power, his rage, and his contempt for the life of the girl, the movie would not work. He does, in a performance of overwhelming, brutal power." Casualties of War is the kind of culminating work that brings the rest of an artist's career into razor-sharp focus. De Palma has created a movie that is both intensely personal and at the same time transcends the limitations of the personal. It is great in the ways that the best De Palma films have been great, but with something more, something like soul. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button and support if you're enjoying our content. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.